Hello and welcome to Inside F2. Today we are joined by a very special guest. Juan Manuel, you've been through one hell of a rehabilitation process. How pleased are you to be in a position to race again?
So it's been a very long journey and a tough one. So of course that makes it pretty sweet to be in this position, to be with such a good team as well, in such a good championship on my comeback. And I think the main word here is I'm proud. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of putting myself in this position in such a short time. And I'm excited and I cannot wait to get back behind a car.
Following the physical injuries you sustained, did you set yourself benchmarks?
I did. I kind of, the rehabilitation process was long and complicated, and it was difficult to get an accurate, timeline of when things would go, because many things were very dependent on bones, and it was in many cases like we will see after the next surgery, and then we will see, doctors way of putting it was that. But I always set myself, kind of like short, mid, and long-term goals, and it's actually pretty funny, but I could envision many times what I would be feeling and looking like a months from that time. So, when I was in the hospital in the beginning, I was dreaming of myself being in a wheelchair. And then when I was in the wheelchair, I was dreaming of myself starting to be on the crutches. And then when I was on the crutches, I started to dream of myself using only one cane. And then, I was always like kind of envisioning what I would be looking like a few months down the line. And my main goal, like throughout that whole time, was just getting back in a car and losing as least possible seasons as possible. So always, in my best case scenario was to just lose 1 year, 2020, and be back for 2021. At some points, it looked like that was gonna be almost impossible to do. But in the end, it happened. So that's why I'm proud, because it took a lot of work.
And what moments on that journey of rehabilitation gave you the energy to keep pushing through those hard, difficult days?
I think the hard parts of it and the bad days actually were the biggest push for me, because I wanted to get out of that, In the very beginning, when it was harder and both physically, mentally, the pain was always there. I was exhausted, but at the same time, that kept me on my toes of, if you want to get out of it here, basically you got to work. And I actually found that later down the line, when I started becoming more comfortable, the pain was gone, I was comfortably getting around on my wheelchair around the house, I got used to it. I felt like I started to get into a kind of comfort zone, and kind of for a few weeks, kind of like lost my motivation, my drive. And that's when I had to like snap out of it and tell myself, hey, you don't want to stay in the wheelchair for another year. You have to be driving in 4, 5, 6 months. You have to get going. So that's when I started using the getting back into driving as a bigger motivation.
What support, particularly mentally, did you have in your inner circle? Who were the ones who pushed you through?
I think support-wise, my family was the biggest support I had. My parents, in the beginning, they were with me in the hospital for the first 2 months that I was there. And that was a big help. I think that the first 2 months were definitely the toughest mentally for me when I was in the hospital. But to be honest, I felt like I was in such a deep hole, and pardon my French, but in a way that I had to work out of that the only one that could get me out of there was myself. There was not a support system in the world, or not enough money in the world, not enough medicine in the world that could help me do it. It was just a matter of kind of looking forward and accepting what had happened, deal with it, and just look forward.
Would you have any supporting words or advice for anyone going through a similar circumstance, having had the journey that you have had thus far?
I think every rehabilitation journey is different. Every injury is different, and everyone, most of all, deals with things differently. So there is a point where, number one, you need to accept what has happened and stop dwelling on the past and be, on the what ifs, or kind of there's no room here to pity yourself. This happened to you and you have to accept it. That was number one. And then on number two was, you have to realize that you're the only one that can get you out of there. It's all in here. It's all in here, really. I am convinced now, it doesn't matter what kind of injuries you have to your body. The main weapon you have is your mind, and the body is just like a tool, So if you're good here, the injuries on your body will be secondary in a way. And it sounds strange, but that's the way it has changed my perspective.
Was there a significant moment when you realised it's on and you knew 100% in your mind that there was a realistic chance that you'd be back on the grid for 2021?
There has not been a single moment where I was 100%, to be honest with you. End of last year, after I visited Spa in August, and right after that time, when we started talking with doctors in Miami about taking the cage off, everything we did medically was based on me wanting to drive again. So I would say, maybe September, October, November last year is when I was like, okay, this is possible. More than anything, all I needed to see was just that small percentage where it was possible, and that's all I needed. And once I saw that, I started to talk to teams. Immediately, ART showed pretty good interest. They believed in me. And it wasn't easy. I remember the first time I spoke with Seb Philippe, the team manager. He thought I was talking about 2022, and I was like, no, next year. And he started laughing. And so I said, just meet with me and let me explain to you in person why it's not such a crazy idea, because he told me I was nuts. So I met with him. I had my computer, X-rays, and I showed him, and I was like, and this is the plan. We'll put this metal, the bone will be okay. And I said, at the end of the day, we're lucky. This is racing cars and not soccer, because if I was a soccer player, then I would be done. And he believed in me, and he said, let's do it. And once I had that opportunity, I didn't think twice about taking it to be able to do my comeback in such a high level category, and with this team, it's unbelievable. So but I was never 100% sure, and even now, there's still many unknowns, so it's still going to be a pretty busy year and a tough one.
What challenges are you focusing on for this year to find your way back into the groove and build your confidence?
There's the sporting challenges, the aspect of the sporting wise, the fact that I haven't been driving for over a year and a half. And then there's also the medical side of it, which is probably the more complicated one for me, because I still, I don't have much mobility on my right ankle. So we might need to do some small adjustments to the pedal box, to the car. And then, like I said, it's just the challenge of combining doing a full season with doing a whole year of pretty intense rehab and surgeries. We don't have planned any big surgeries, but it's still, you have to plan things properly.
You're paired up with Alexander Samoliar and Frederick Vesti at the team. How important is it for you to be with them on the pace when the series potentially starts in Barcelona?
Not very important in my view. I'm not looking to arrive to Barcelona and win the race. I'm looking to build a steady progression throughout the year, take it step by step. I'm lucky to have them as teammates. They're probably the two most experienced drivers on the grid, I think. And at least Frederick, with the year he had last year, he's probably the favorite for the title. So to have him as a reference is great. I'm excited to work with them. I know them, both of them personally as well. So I just hope we can create a good environment, and they can also give me a hand in the beginning to get me up to speed, and we'll see what happens.
Although you can't really say how things will turn out, what are still your long-term goals for the future?
Formula One is my long-term goal. That has not changed. And that was the main reason why I wanted to lose as little years as possible. If I wanted to become a professional GT driver, I could have easily waited another year and kind of taken my career path down that road afterwards. But my goal has has still been F1 this whole time. Hopefully in 2-3 years I can be the first American there in a long time.
Have Alfa Romeo and its junior program given you any support throughout the journey?
Yes, they've been constantly contacting with me, and there's actually talks at the moment with them of working together again this year. I can't confirm anything at this moment, but you know, the relationship will always be there. Also, Fred Vasseur, he's the owner of ART and the team manager of Alfa Romeo, so the link is quite strong both ways there. And it's a great group of people. You know, I would be honored if they gave me a chance to work with them again this year.
Would you be cheeky enough to ask for an FP1 run?
I mean, I would never say no to that, so it's not up to me.
Last time you spoke with us, we discussed you potentially getting in the booth with Alex Jakes. Are you still interested in doing that? And what words have you got to say to Alex?
I would love to do that. We never got to it, but yeah, I think I have a lot to learn from him in the commenting department, but maybe I can bring some good insights. So yeah, you know, I'm excited to see everyone at the races. Part of what I missed this last year was not only the lack of adrenaline and speed, but also the little motorsports family that travels to all these events. Because at the end of the day, when you've been doing this for half of your life, they become, you know, kind of like your second family. So I'm excited to see everyone again in the first race in Barcelona.
We hope you enjoyed this video and the upcoming article with it. Thank you very much for watching. See you around next time.